Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar tonight. I'm happy to be back with you. Missed you guys the last couple of weeks. This is Margie Alaprandi, and I have Dr. Carrie Sarda with me this evening. And as you know, she has a master's in metabolic medicine and nutrition with an emphasis on anti-aging. And we always love welcoming her to these calls. Tonight, we have got a fantastic product for you. It's one of the very most loved products at Modere. It's a high impact product, one that people experience and fall in love with right away and find multiple uses for, and want to always be sure that they've got this in every single bathroom, and really just a very loved product, and that is our antioxidant hair serum. So this is a product that, as I mentioned, really high impact, really immediate gratification kind of a product. It adds hydration to the hair. It kind of seals the hair so that it has a protective quality from the environment. It makes it look and feel smooth, and it promotes shine. So really a phenomenal product, and one that as Moroccan oils have become just so popular and really used kind of all over the world. Really, this product fills a very important niche in the Modere line and also in our lineup of hair products. So this product is starting now until 9 a.m. on the 2nd of June. This product is 30% off by using the promo code SERUM. This is really a fantastic time to stock up on this product. Maybe even start thinking about who you might want to give it to as a gift. You're going to flip when you see how really affordable this product is for the next several hours. So I'm now going to just move here to kind of an introductory slide. I'll read it, and then we'll move on to the ingredients. This slide that we're all viewing right now says styling your hair, sun exposure, wind, and salon treatments are not very kind to the hair, really rough on the hair. And Modere's Antioxidant Hair Serum is a restorative blend of oils designed to hydrate and smooth your hair. Our nourishing formula will have your hair looking and feeling healthy. So I think you're going to find this next slide very, very interesting. Here on the left side of your screen is the ingredient deck for a very popular kind of Moroccan oil type product that has been created by Jennifer Aniston. Of course, when products carry a star's name, they get a little bit popularized because of that. But I think you'll find it interesting to see that this ingredient deck of her product, Living Proof, which can sell from anywhere between $39 to $45, depending on where you buy it, has, I don't know, 30, 35 ingredients. And if you look through, it's pretty hard to find an oil. I think there's one oil in there, maybe two, but knowing ingredients like I do, Dr. Sarda, I see a couple of carcinogens, a couple of really toxic ingredients there, pegs and so forth. And I don't know, before we jump into the ingredient deck of our amazing antioxidant hair serum, if you want to comment at all on that ingredient deck. So here you've got all these ingredients, some of them toxic, and definitely a couple of carcinogens in there, and really maybe an oil. I don't know. What do you see when you look at this ingredient deck compared to ours?
Well, I definitely think you hit the the nail right on the head when you said, first of all, look at 35 plus ingredients, and then look at Modere's lineup. And I think the thing that you have to get from this is that so many of those things are in there to benefit shelf life and to the majority of what it is and to so things don't grow in the product, such as molds and mildews and different things like that, and different types of bacteria. Right, there's a lot of things in here that are just toxic to the body. Things that jump out at me because I know how particular toxic they are, like you said, are the PEGs, the PPG, the polybutylene. And what those are basically different forms of just where natural substances have been altered, alcohols and sterols and styrene. And the reason why those are a problem is our body doesn't know what to do with them. And I think we forget that because we're putting it externally on our hair, and this is my main point to this, is that we're not going to be exposed to it. And we forget that that's attached to our scalp, to our cuticles, and all the absorption. So chemically changing something might make it not as degradable, or might make it last longer, or might make it smell better, or might make it feel better. But we have to remember that our body, that's not natural to our body. So for the most part, these are difficult to pronounce, and they're kind of scary, and they're chemical terminologies. But in and of itself, the body doesn't know what to do with these. That's the biggest takeaway point, and that's why they're toxic. That's why they're carcinogenic. That's why there's been a big move, most especially by our Modere community, to remove them. If you look over on the Modere side, that's just not there. It's not necessary. It's really not necessary. We can mass produce. We can get it out to large groups of people. We have to package our products. We have to do all those things, but it's just not necessary. And that's what we need to realize. We don't need these fillers. These are used for profit margins and shelf life. And that's kind of the bottom dollar.
And when you're mentioning the pegs, when you see an E in the middle of an ingredient like that, like PEG, I believe that means you're talking about it being altered, but which is exactly right.
Right.
It's ethoxylated, and when you ethoxylate something, it changes the compound so that it first of all it kind of mutates cells. Really is the bottom line on what happens with that. It also can create 1,4-dioxane when it mixes with other ingredients in the formula, which is really toxic, absolutely a known carcinogen. So like, what's that doing in a hair formula? I don't know. You put it on your hands first, don't you, as you put it in your hair, and then of course anyway, it just seems.
Well, the whole concept, I think you have to remember with these things, the whole concept is if you're exposed to just a little bit, at what level do they cause harm? And, well, Modere says at any level. And in the manufacturing world does not, think that way.
Exactly.
It's just plain and simple as that. Why do you want any carcinogens near you when you don't have to? There's so much we can't control. Why don't you control what you can?
And then you compare it to the Modere formula that has 5 oils, 7 ingredients, 5 oils. It's just a really luxurious, amazing product that is really delivering value and for a fraction of the price. So maybe we can go through some of these ingredients kind of one by one and talk about what their specific function would be in the Modere formula. But I just think it's such an interesting contrast to see the two formulas side by side, knowing that ours is a fraction of the price and so much more capable of delivering value.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of, well, also look at the combination, look how many there are. We need to be sure to stress that.
Right.
You so rarely get that many oils in one package.
So let's break it down, and why don't you just kind of start at the top of the ingredient um,
Okay.
list
Okay.
there. Tell us about some of them, and I'll chime in a little bit.
Sure, sure. So, and I get that these first couple of words are pretty complicated, and Margie, just holler at me if you can't hear me very well. Just jump in. But the first ingredient is cyclopentasiloxane. So that is there for an important reason. It's kind of a replacement of what used to be all the old silicones, because we knew we didn't like that as much, and that was harder on the body. And this is kind of what is our sealant, our protector, what kind of helps those dry frizzies, or in other words, kind of an emollient type product. I call it the protective layer that coats and soothes. You see it in a lot of cosmetics, a lot of hair care, a lot of any type of external care, skin, because it promotes such a protective layer against wind, against toxic chemicals, against free radicals, things like that. So it's a really nice ingredient to have in the product. Another ingredient that you see commonly, and I love it, is it's dimethycanol, and our dimethycanol, however it's pronounced different ways, but that's basically used for a very good anti-static agent. And that's such a problem with hair. All of us, I think, have experienced that. And that's what really, really does in this product. It does such a nice job of keeping that static clean down, or kind of the flyaways. I really, really like that product. And again, Margie, jump in any time. I just don't want people to say those names are funny. And again,
exactly.
we're using the correct terminology, and I just don't want anybody to be afraid of.
No, I agree. And I'll just kind of mention again for people that maybe new listening into some of their first few product calls, that one of the things that Modere does that is so important is that we have full transparency on our labeling, which means we use Enki, which is the international nomenclature of cosmetic ingredients. And really the companies that have a global presence, that are the most disclosing of their ingredients, use this method of distinguishing the ingredients that we use, because they're so highly specific. And that's why they're kind of long names. Like if you've ever gone shopping at a nursery, you'll notice that something's called a daisy, but then it also has this really long name that is really specifically the breed. And when you know that about an ingredient, you know not just its name, but you know its function, and it's really defining something important in the formula. So don't be scared off by the fact, this is just like, these are like macadamia oils. I mean, these are really straightforward kinds of oils that are rich and just luscious for the hair. So don't let those big long names kind of throw you off.
Yeah, these ingredients are used often. You'll see them in the sensitive skin and hair care lines, and in the children's and infant lines, and in your medical lines as well. So they're well studied, and I feel real good about the protection and the reason why they're in there, and what value they add to the product. I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way first, and then really, if you look at the rest of the product, it's essentially natural oils. They can come from seeds, or they come from their original sources, and there's a list of them. And do you want me to go down the order that they appeared in?
Yes.
I'm doing I'm actually at the hospital doing this from my phone, so I don't have the slides up in front of me. I apologize.
Okay.
So why don't you start it, and I'll go. You start the name, and I'll go from there.
Macadamiate is.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Excellent product. What we use that for in this product is that's what makes it, that kind of gives it that nice, what we call spreadability. It's why this product is not tacky or sticky. It's non-greasy. If you notice when you how the product, it just doesn't have any of the stickiness or tackiness to it that you find in a lot of the hair care, and that's why I just think this is a wonderful ingredient to put in it. Again, I think spreadability, non-greasy are the words that you need to associate with that oil.
Wonderful. So the next one is Algeritas mollicana. Algeritas, am I saying that right? Mollicana seed oil is the next one. It's
mollicana, right.
Candle, yeah.
Right. Okay, so the mollicana, what that does is that's what we call a fatty acid. So that is that's very good at. We need that to. This is what helps us slow water loss. It's kind of a good way to think of that. So the hair retains its moisture, or the moisture that that it gets. Does a very good job of penetrating and getting into pores. It's very, very nourishing. It has something called linoleic and linolenic acids in it, and those are what we call fatty acids. Those are omegas, and that's what keeps you from the dry, the frizzy. Really, really good for your coarse, curly hair. It does a really nice job for that. Oftentimes you'll see that used. Split ends, wonderful for split ends, that kind of thing, because that's all dryness.
And these are, so this is a tree, the state tree of Hawaii, which I didn't realize until I just was doing a little bit of research earlier today. And so it's something that they cold press from the seed of these trees, and you're exactly right that it is really used a lot for the hair and the skin as a conditioner, and it does have that sort of protective thing as well, because in Hawaii they use this oil even to help with sunburned skin. It's completely non-toxic, really, really great. And then one thing we might mention about this, I know that you probably feel the same, Dr. Sarda. When I'm putting this on my hair, people sometimes say, do you use it on dry hair, or do you use it after you've styled your hair, after you've dried your hair and kind of styled it? I'm like, yes. So
right.
I always put it on my hair immediately when it's even still wet, and then I just I feel like that is a time when it is very able to absorb. It's just using it at both times, and then after it's all done, I apply it several times throughout the week. And I don't wash my hair every day, and I apply it several times throughout the week if my hair's looking a little dull and lifeless, or if I know I'm going out in the sun, I apply like an extra amount then. And so what I also love is that when I have a little bit of this left over, I'll kind of rub it up my arms, and if there's a little extra on my hand, I'll put it on my elbows or my knees, because it is just so helpful for dry skin. And this particular one, it's also been used for stretch marks and cellulite reduction, of all things. And so
right, you make two really good points. One, hair, skin, nails, right? Because those are all come from the same germ cell line of our body. Those are all ectodermal cells, so they all really will respond the same way. And so you're right. That's why you can put that everywhere. That's why you can get the skin, the cellulite. A good point. And secondly, I think we need to bring up, I have completely different hair than you have, straight, fine, a little bit tends to be oily, but I get the same. It benefits me just as much as it benefits you, because it will it will kind of customize what we all need the same thing. We also need moisture. We also need to fight dirt. We need the emollient. We need the non-greasiness. We need to help split ends. We need to protect our hair from toxins and free radicals and chemicals and blow drying and hair straightening. So we all need the same things. It just kind of modifies to what we need. And it's a very, I think it's a very big deal to bring out to people, that someone that's greasy washing their hair every day, or someone that that washes every 3 days. they both are going to benefit from the product.
Right, and I love that you say the different textures of hair, because some people are really afraid to use this because they're afraid that it will weigh down their hair or that it will make it
Right.
a little bit
Right.
too greasy. But no, it's just because of the
macadamia that takes care of that for the people that need that. Right, exactly.
yeah, it's just very absorbable, and so it works for everybody. So I'm glad you mentioned that. The next one we have here is Argania.
Argania spinosa, right. So
Yeah.
that's another oil. That's another fatty acid oil, and that works as an emollient.
Short name for it is argan oil, right?
Right, exactly. And again, working on nourishing, coating, soothing. It's very, very good for split ends. Very excellent. Probably one of the best oils for split ends.
And it's really an emollient one. I've used argan oil from time to time, just kind of on its own. Long before we had this product in Modere, I would get argan oil and just use it, sometimes
everywhere.
Facial treatments, right, or a little bit on the hair. Kind of one of those that can just be used for everything. And so when I saw that we have this in this product, it's really very, very beautiful. And this is one that comes from southwestern Morocco. So talking about Moroccan oils, that women there have used this for literally centuries, and not just for all of these cosmetic benefits that we're talking about, but honestly to heal the skin and rejuvenate and youthen the skin. So once again, applying this to the hair, but then being sure that you don't waste that little extra bit that's in your hand, on your hands, and to know that while you're
and also remember too with these oils, because they penetrate so well, oftentimes you can cover the hair and apply a little bit of heat and let that sit. Remember the old oil treatments, hot oil treatments?
Yes.
From the salon. These oils will all serve the same purpose as well. This is a great product for that, because you're not putting in a lot of, you're not penetrating a lot of those toxins and carcinogens. It's such a clean, pure product that you get the benefit of giving yourself a hot oil treatment very easily. Just putting a cap on and just applying a little bit of heat with your blow dryer and then sitting on it for 20, 30 minutes. You don't have to do that often, but remember that after especially coloring and perms and things like that, because oils are so good. They don't strip your color, and that's always been a real positive about using these oils.
Yes. And this one also, I read that comparing it to vitamin E, it is 3 times higher in
fatty acids.
The essential fatty acids, and it's really high in antioxidants, and once again just really natural restorative and anti-aging benefits to the skin. And so the next one is Simon Diacia. Yeah.
I think that's what you pretty much, and that's a little more of a household name. And for the most part, in anything you're going to find over the counter, you're always at least going to find that ingredient, that particular oil, because it is a staple oil for hair, skin, nails. The problem is they just add so much other crud in there that they kind of ruin it. And it definitely is a the platform of I think any type of hair repair or hair system, because it does so many things. It works so good at controlling the sebum that comes from your scalp that blocks up your pores or that makes your hair dirty or makes your hair oily. It does an excellent job about that. Keeps the follicles open, and you don't and by doing that, you don't get a lot of that hair damage and hair loss. You don't get the hair drying out. because you get your natural oils. Actually, it is well known to stimulate new hair growth. A very common treatment for that. It's very good at what's called a fungicide. So it's very good at controlling mildew and fungus, because oftentimes, the hair is wet and dry, and so it's moistening the scalp and keeping that healthy. So it's a staple in this product. It definitely is, and you'll see that name a lot. And it's wonderful. I mean, it's just a very, very good oil.
Yes, yes, yes. And when you see that, like we were pointing out at the beginning of the webinar, when you see that sort of long name, that's very specifically saying that this is pure jojoba seed oil, whereas a lot of times, like you said, when you see that on a label, it's really adulterated and you're not getting a pure oil. Very, very seldom when you see that just listed as jojoba oil. It is, mixed with other stuff and not pure. So this one comes from an American shrub, the jojoba oil, and it is pure, and it has a great benefit to the hair, and doesn't make it feel oily or sticky, but really, really hydrates and moisturizes.
You'll see it kind of throughout our whole hair care system, because it is, like I said, a staple, and right. The actual origin has kind of been so intermixed over time. I believe ours is American shrub, so it's probably, like I said, the fact that it protects the follicles is why it's such a great oil to include.
Yeah, huge, right? Huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then this next one, honey, is Calophyllum Inophilium seed oil.
Right. Oh boy, that's a mouthful.
Inophilium seed oil.
Right.
What's that?
So basically, again, that's another kind of fatty acid, kind of another more, more hydrating, more of that almost emollient type product. It's kind of a combination of all those oils together are why we get such good benefit. They don't just have one or two or the main one, then we put all of them together. So it kind of just makes a nice complement to, again, moisture, mainly, is what that's going to offer.
Fantastic. I just did it. I quickly searched, because that was one that I wasn't familiar with and hadn't ever done any research on, and I just looked this up really quickly, and it says that it's been studied in hospitals a lot in Europe, and used, medicinally in that regard. So,
and all of these oils, the thing I think it's important to bring up is that these are all consumable. If you look up each and every one of them, they're in foods. They're natural, and they're used in aromatherapy. That's a big one for the calophyllum is aromatherapy. It sure gives it a very nice fragrance. And that's also cold pressed too. We talk about how the oils are prepared. We don't want them damaged. We want a nice and that cold pressing. To cold press something is a way of producing it, not damaging it from its original form.
Yes, exactly. Retaining all of its properties, and across the board, all of these, like you said at the beginning, for skin and hair, nails and cuticles, and just pretty much everything that covers us, right? Just wonderfully emollient and beneficial. And then at the bottom here, you would see the ingredient of fragrance. And once again, just a reminder that fragrance can be a really damaging component of a lot of formulas, because there are fragrances that are neurotoxins. In other words, they're excitotoxins to the brain, and there have been a lot of studies over the last couple of decades showing even what, some of these fragrances that are in perfumes and so forth can actually, you take a snapshot of the brain just right after it is inhaled a fragrance, and it's all, stimulated and wacky, and when we use fragrance, whenever you see a fragrance on a label at Modair, you can know that it has passed the strictest, the one of the strictest consumer uh, protective uh, groups in the world right now is the European Union with their Seventh Amendment, that bans all carcinogens, mutagens, and reproductive toxins, and they're really, really hard on fragrance. Um, but that doesn't mean that there aren't some safe fragrances. And we use fragrance only when the raw ingredients might not present a pleasing and feel or smell to the consumer. So when you see fragrance, you can know that it has passed, that it is completely safe, that it doesn't have any neurotoxic challenges, no excitotoxic challenges. It's completely dermatologically tested. It's not an irritant. It's not, I mean, it's just, it's something that is natural, and it is only to make the product a little bit more user-friendly. So anything you want to add on that?
Well, that's an excellent point. I mean, it's hard to make herbs and plants and seeds and oils smell good, taste good, that kind of thing, especially when you start mixing them together. And that's not really the goal that Modair is trying to do, but you also can't, you have to be somewhat palatable. So I think you brought up a very good point, because there's plenty of natural fragrances out there. There's plenty of them that are not harmful, and so that's what we go after. Again, it's just the philosophy of the company, ever more present again in another product, like we talk about from week to week.
Yes, 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 yes. So once again, just kind of going over this, it nourishes and enhances the hair. It has 5 natural enriching oils, which we've gone through one by one. Helps with hydration and nourishment. Literally feeds the hair, penetrates into the hair shaft and feeds the hair. Helps prevent split ends because it increases the wet combing strength of the hair. It's an anhydrous, meaning that it doesn't have water. So it keeps the antioxidants more intact, and the integrity of them is retained better. It seals and smooths and moisturizes and boosts the hair shine, and it won't weigh the hair down. And now, drum roll, if you can even stand it, the regular retail price, remember we showed that Jennifer Aniston one with 30-some ingredients, some of them toxic, one oil, if you really search in there, maybe one oil. Um, and um, and so, I think at the first thing we were saying, use the promo code Serum, and now I'm seeing it say Beauty, so I'm not sure which one it is, but um, try both, I suppose, when you're checking out to make sure that you get this price, because the regular retail price is $21.99. You cannot find a product of this quality and this benefit on the market, period, hands down, for $21.99. You just can't. And you get 30% off, and by using the code Beauty, and that is $15.39. It's just such a great time to stock up on this product, and buy it. Get ready for some birthday gifts and Mother's Day, and anything that you want to stock up on it for. It's just this is now the time to do it. So
I remember that here's the whole thing. At the end of the day, it's 5 oils. Where do you find that? Where do you find 5 oils without toxins or carcinogens? You don't. You don't find it elsewhere. You don't find it in the fancy salons. You don't find it. It's pretty incredible, you guys.
It's an extraordinary product. Make sure that you have several on hand for yourself. And this is a great way to introduce somebody to Modere by getting this product for them. And what, at a price of $15.39, that can almost be considered a price that you would spend on a sample for the right prospect or potential customer. So share the love, guys, and get the information out about this amazing product and this price that will be available until 9 a.m. on the morning of the 2nd. Starting now, go stock up on this amazing product, on our antioxidant hair serum. And Dr. Sarda, thanks again for being with us this evening. I always love doing these webinars with you and appreciate your insights and perspective and so forth. So thank you so much.
Oh, same here, Margie. Thank you. Good night,
Good night,
guys.
everyone.